Welcome to Stephen Codecraft. In this free video series, we'll cover the essential JavaScript concepts needed for technical interviews. On stephencodecraft.com, click on the free courses nav link to access all course materials. You can download a free PDF with the transcripts, exercises, and view the GitHub links for starter and finish files. Also check out our free trial to explore premium courses on JavaScript, React for web development, and React Native for mobile apps. In each lesson, we'll break down key JavaScript concepts with real-world examples. We'll use the active recall study questions to help you prep for phone screen interviews, and apply your knowledge through guided coding exercises. Let's get started. In this lesson, we'll discuss the different ways to declare variables in JavaScript, focusing on the use of the let keyword, var keyword, and the const keyword. We'll also explore the concepts of block scope, function scope, and hoisting. Let's start with the variable declarations. The first way to declare a variable is with the let keyword. Let is used to declare a variable with block scope. A block is typically defined by a pair of curly braces, and the variable cannot be accessed outside this block. Variables declared with the let keyword cannot be accessed before their initialization. So to show an example of that in our project files, in the directory named variables and scoping, let's create a new folder within it, and I'll name it _lesson. In this directory, we'll create a new file, program.js. We can close the sidebar with the keyboard shortcut, Command B, or Control B. So now I'll create a block with curly braces, and within it I will declare a variable with the let keyword. We'll name it block var. We can assign this to the string I am block scoped. Now I can log it out with block var. And let's start up Quokka so we can see our output. So we'll bring up the command palette, Command Shift and P. Quokka start on current file. And here we get our expected output, which is the string. Now if we try to access this block var outside of the curly braces, we're going to get an error. So here we see Quokka says block var is not defined, and there's a reference error. So block var is only available within the block that it is defined in. So for now, let's comment this out. Now we'll go over the var keyword. So var is used to declare a variable with function scope. Unlike the let keyword, a var variable is automatically initialized to undefined when it is hoisted. It can be accessed before its declaration, but its value will be undefined until it is assigned. So we can go over an example of that. Let's resize this so we have more room. I'll create a function and I'll name it example. Now within it, I'll say console.log. I'll name it myvar. And this has the value undefined. So now let's declare that. We use the var keyword. MyVar is assigned to the string I am function scoped. And let's log it out again. So now let's invoke it. I'll say example. And here we see the output. When we first console log myVar, before it is actually initialized, it has the value of undefined, because myVar is hoisted to the top of its scope. And then after it is initialized, we're able to access its value. So here we see it did not show an error, as it did with the let keyword. So we can comment this out. Now let's go over the const keyword. Const is used to declare a constant value. It has block scope like the let keyword, but with the added restriction that it cannot be reassigned after initialization. Note that the const keyword does not make the value immutable if the value is an object or an array. It only ensures the reference cannot be changed. So we can cover an example of that. Let's say the const keyword, and then I'll say constant value. We'll assign it to the primitive value of 42. And if we were to try to reassign it to the value 50, here we see an error, as we cannot perform that assignment. Now let's create an array. So an array is an object. will contain the values of 1 and 2. So we did use the const keyword, meaning that we cannot reassign this value, but we can add to that array. So this works as expected. We can also console log this so we can see it. And we get the expected output of an array with the values of 1, 2, and 3. So we can comment this out. Now let's go into more detail of scopes. Starting with block scope. Variables declared with the let keyword or const keyword are confined to the block they are declared in. They are not accessible outside the block, ensuring better control over variable usage. So to cover another example of this, we can create a block with curly braces, use the let keyword, let x is assigned to 10, and the const keyword of y is assigned to 20. If we try to access these values, console.log x, and I'll do shift option down arrow to copy this line, the value of y. So both of these values are not defined. Try to comment this out. We see this error for y as well. So we can comment this out. Now let's discuss the other scope, which is function scope. Variables declared with the var keyword are accessible throughout the function where they are defined, regardless of the block they are in. Once again, we'll create a function. I'll name this second example. And within it, I'll use an if statement. So if true, var, scope var is assigned to I am function scoped. So it is defined within this block, within these curly braces, but we can also access it outside. So I can say scoped var. Now if we invoke it, second example, here we see it outputted the string value, I am function scoped. So we can comment this out. Now let's go over hoisting. Hoisting is a process in JavaScript where variable declarations are moved to the top of their scope during the compilation phase. However, initialization is not hoisted, which can lead to different behaviors for the var keyword, let keyword, and const keyword. For variables declared with the var keyword, these are hoisted and initialized to undefined. They can be accessed before their declaration line, but their value will be undefined. For the let and const keywords, these are hoisted, but not initialized. They cannot be accessed before their declaration and will throw a reference error if accessed early. So we can cover another example of that. I can say console.log var num. So this value is undefined. And I'll do shift option and down arrow to copy this line. And I'll name this let num. And now we can initialize those values. So var num is assigned to 5. And var let num is initialized to the value of 5. Now if we copy this, let's use the keyword let. So here we see, when we try to access the variable that was declared with the let keyword, we get cannot access let num before initialization. So in summary, use the let keyword for variables that cannot be reassigned within a block. Use the const keyword for variables that should not be reassigned after initialization. Avoid the var keyword in modern JavaScript due to its function scope behavior and potential for unintended issues. Understand hoisting to avoid errors when accessing variables before their declaration. This overview covers the essentials of variable declarations and scoping in JavaScript. In the next lesson, we'll dive deeper into JavaScript's data types and their unique characteristics. How does the choice between the let keyword, var keyword, and const keyword impact the scope and behavior of variables in JavaScript? And why is it important to understand these differences? The choice between the let keyword, var keyword, and const keyword in JavaScript affects how and where variables can be accessed in your code. With the var keyword, these are function scope, meaning it can be accessed anywhere within the function where it is declared. It is hoisted and initialized to undefined, which can lead to unexpected behavior if not carefully managed. With the let keyword, it is block scoped, limiting its accessibility to the block, usually within curly braces, where it is declared in. It is hoisted, but not initialized, so accessing it before declaration causes an error. With the const keyword, it is block scope like the let keyword, but it creates a constant value that cannot be reassigned after its initial assignment. Understanding these differences is crucial for avoiding bugs, ensuring variables are only accessible where they should be, and maintaining predictable and secure code. What role does hoisting play in the execution of JavaScript code, particularly in relation to variable declarations with var, let, and const? Hoisting in JavaScript is the process where variable declarations are moved to the top of their scope during the code's execution phase. With the var keyword, the variable is hoisted and initialized undefined. It can be accessed before its declaration, but will hold undefined until it's assigned a value. With the let keyword and const keyword, the variables are hoisted but not initialized. This means they cannot be accessed before their declaration, leading to a reference error if you try to use them too early. Understanding hoisting helps prevent errors and ensures that variables are used in the correct order in your code. So now let's go over two coding examples to help you apply your knowledge. So expand the directory named exercise 3 and we'll view the PDF. So this problem covers scoping and hoisting. So this tests your understanding of scoping rules and how the var keyword, let keyword, and const keyword behave differently in block and global scopes. So write a function called testScopes that demonstrates the behavior of var, let, and const in different scopes. So the function should declare variables using var, let, and const inside a block, attempt to access those variables both inside and outside the block to demonstrate their scope, then log the results to the console to show which variables are accessible and which cause errors. So this shows the expected output. So here we see when we log inside the curly braces or inside the block, we get inside block and then the values of the var keyword, the let keyword, and the const keyword. And then we try logging outside the block. So when we try to access the var keyword, we're able to do so outside the curly braces, but we're not able to do so with the let keyword or the const keyword, as those are block scope. So now let's view our starter files to help you get started with this problem. So here we have a function named testScopes, and we have our block here in these curly braces. So if true, we can uncomment this, which will be logging out inside the block, and then we will remove the comment when we log outside the block. So your job is simply to declare the variables here. So declare function scope with the var keyword, let block scope with the let keyword, and const block scope with the const keyword. So pause the video and implement this. So now that you attempted to implement this, we'll go through with an example. So the var keyword, function scope, and we assign that to the string. Var is function scope. Then the let keyword, let block scope, is assigned to let is block scope, and then the const keyword. So we can name this const block scope is assigned to const is block scope. You can save that and start up Quokka to see our output. So Command Shift and P for the command palette, and then Quokka start on this file. So we get our expected output. So here when we console log, if I scroll to the right, we're able to access all those variables within the block. So we see inside the block, var is function scope, let is block scope, and const is block scope. However, when we try to access it outside these curly braces, we're only able to access the variable declared with the var keyword, as those other keywords, or other variables rather, are declared with block scope, let and const. So we get let block scope is not defined. So we can stop Quokka, Command Shift and P. So let's go over one more example. So we can expand the folder exercise 4 and we'll view the PDF. So this problem covers hoisting. So this will test your knowledge of hoisting and your ability to anticipate and handle errors related to variable initialization. So create a function named hoisting example that demonstrates the effect of hoisting on the var keyword, let keyword, and const keyword. So declare a variable with the var keyword and log it to the console before and after assigning a value. Then declare variables with the let and const keywords and attempt to log them to the console before their declaration. Handle any reference error exceptions that occur using a try-catch block. So an example of the expected output, here when we log out the var keyword before the assignment, it has the value of undefined, and then when we output the var keyword after assignment, it has the string I am var. Then when we try to access the let keyword or the const keyword, we get the error cannot access before initialization. So let's expand, and we can view our starter file. So this is heavily commented, but what we care about here is the hoisting example function. And so we want to add our variable within our try block. So beneath it, you would add the var keyword with the var declaration. So this file is heavily commented, but what we care about is simply utilizing this myvar within this string. So for example, I'll show you the first one. We'll use string interpolation, and we'll have myvar here. Likewise, for the other examples, we will also do myvar and add it here. So we're outputting it before it's initialized and after it's initialized. So continue with this with the mylet variable, so utilizing it in this try block, as well as after it is assigned, and then with the const keyword. So pause the video and finish the rest of this example. So now that you attempted to do that, we'll simply copy mylet, and we'll use the interpolation here. And we're also accessing it after the assignment. Let's make sure I implement that correctly. And then for my const, I'll copy this, and we'll use it here, and we'll use it after. So we're just focusing on interpolation, just to demonstrate the behavior when we try to access it before it is initialized. So we can save this, and we can start a Poca with Command Shift and P, start on current file. So let's make more room. So here we see my var before assignment is undefined, and my var after assignment has the value of 1. Then with the let keyword, when we try to access it before it is declared or initialized, we get an error, so it's a reference error that we cannot access it before initialization. And then after it is assigned, we can output the value of 2. Now with the const keyword, we get the reference error, and after it is assigned, we get its value of 3.